Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude and Ralfs Photo Flight. Here is the third part for the Q500. I started with the unboxing and assembly, and now we are at the pre-flight preparations just before we go out to the field. There are some settings on the remote control. We can do some stuff on the copter. And so yes, we make the settings for our first flight. First of all, remove this cover here. It says warning that you notice not to fly over people and not to fly at restricted air zones and stuff like this. So I hope you know this and I hope you obey these rules. And so everything is fine. When we start the copter and the remote control, important is to start the remote control first. We have the power switch here, turn on the power, and here we go. The sound you hear, that's a fan, a cooler fan for the remote control, and now it takes a little moment before the remote control starts, initialize. It's an Android system, so it takes some seconds. Here we see the Wi-Fi connection flashing and the GPS flashing. The remote control has a built-in GPS receiver, so not only the copter has GPS, but also the remote control has a built-in GPS. Okay, the remote has started, and now we can power on the copter. But before we do this, please remove the propellers, because if there happens an accident or something like this and the propeller starts in your office, that's not a real good idea. So please remove the propellers, and for one reason more, because I want to start the engines a little bit later in this video. So please remove the propellers. After this, we can start the copter. As I said before, here is the switch to start the copter, and I will do now. Here we are. The copter initialize. We have 4 lights at the motors, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear of the copter. The one in the front are white and the 2 in the back are red, so you have a real good orientation in the air, which is the front side and which is the back side of the copter. We have an additional light at the camera. You see this here at the camera. Here we have the green light. If the light is green, everything is fine. The camera is connected and works perfect. And on the back side of the copter, we have the light which gives us the indication in which status the copter is, if there's anything going wrong or if anything is going right. These symbols of the flashing I will explain you at the first flight. Then you will see how the flash signals give you the status of the copter, if you can fly or if you cannot fly, or if you have to make a calibration or stuff like this. So this I will show you then on the field when we make the first flight. Now the copter and the remote control are binded, and we can have a look at the display of the remote control. It says welcome pilot, and on the left side it says model Q500, mode ready, so we can fly. GPS also ready. That means that the copter has found enough satellites. Here we see how much the satellites. These are the satellites which the copter found. So these are 18 satellites or 16. Then we have the actual GPS position. And on the right side we have the time. And then we have the satellites from the remote control. So how many satellites remote control found. And then we have the symbol of Wi-Fi. And we have the battery symbol shows you the battery status of the remote control. But you can also, I will show you later, you can also check the power of the remote control more exactly than only with a symbol. Here we have the power of the copter. It says 12.8 volt. The copter has a built-in battery warning system, so if the battery runs to a certain point, you have the first battery warning and then you have a second battery warning. If you have the second battery warning, it's a good idea to fly back and make a landing as soon as possible, and you can check the voltage by yourself. 10.7 volt, that's the lowest voltage you never should reach. Because if you're under 10.7 volt, the copter may crash. So that's the volt. You should have a look, 10.7. Then we have the altitude, we have the speed, and we have the distance. Here in the building, it's not quite exact. If you're outside, I will show you how exact it is. That's the distance between the remote control and the copter, and you see it's not 6 or 5.5 meters. It gets better if we are outside and we have a better connection. Okay, so when you press in the middle 2 times, you can hide all the control fields. Again, tap 2 times, and here we have the control fields back. Going to the point system settings. If we go to the point system settings, the system said I want to disconnect. Yes, you can disconnect. Then we go to the point which I said before, battery, and here you can see the discharging of the battery of the remote control, how long you used the battery, and which part of the system uses the most power. You hear the flight mode, cell radio, the Wi-Fi, Android system, and that's it. Okay, so go back. We have here the language setting, English and Chinese. English is for us. Reset, I don't show you the reset because that's only if you get in trouble with the connection or stuff like this. Then we say date and time, set date. Here we can make the settings of the date just by tapping on the small arrows, and then we say set. Exactly the same for the time, set, and then we have the time zone. For me it's Amsterdam, Berlin. I don't know which time zone you have, but you may know in which time zone you live. Next point is use 24-hour format or not. I use the 24-hour format, and then we have the date format. It depends on the region you're, and it depends on what you want to have. Okay, so these were the settings, date and time. Then we have the about flight mode. Here we have the ST10, that's the model number, the different Android systems, and we have here radio control and system update. If we get new firmware, we can update both on this point. Okay, so these were the settings. Going back to the flight settings, press the flight settings. Again, disconnect, yes it is. Bind, I don't show you how to bind because both is binded and I don't want to disconnect it. Camera select, it says 2 cameras, but there's only 1 camera in option, so let it like it is. You can't change here anything. Then we have the mode select, and the mode select mean the different sticks orientation. So we have these 2 sticks here, and usually we fly in mode 2. That's the standard mode. For beginners, if you are flying longer and have different RC models, you may fly in another mode. But if we have the mode 2, we have the throttle in this direction, so pushing the left stick up, the copter goes up. Pushing it down, the copter goes down. Pushing the stick to the left side, the copter makes a left turn. Pushing it to the right side, the copter makes a right turn. Using the right stick, pushing it forward, the copter flies forward. backwards, left and right. So these are the mode 2 sticks, but as you like it, you can change, and if you're used to another option, you can change it to another mode. Then we have the hardware monitor, and in the hardware monitor you can see all the different sticks. So if I move the stick here, you can see we have here the stick left, right and so on. We have the camera control dial here on the left side, and we have the dial for rabbit or turtle on the right side. We have the switch number 1 for the different flight modes. So that's everything you can see here in the hardware control. Going back, other settings, that's important for Germany and for the other countries. We in Germany or Europe use this, except for the British, use metric, and if you're outside, maybe you use imperial. We back again use metric. Okay, and that's it in this setting. Coming to the model select, but the model select, it's only the Q500 which you can select here. There are no more flight models, but if you have more flight models, you can use this with one remote control. So that's it. Going back to the main window. One important point is I talked about the dial here on the right side of the remote control, which had the symbol rabbit and turtle. What does it mean? You may know from professional remote controls that the reaction speed of the stick is different. So if you are in the turtle mode, in the slow mode, it's good for video flights, because if you move the stick a little bit, the copter reacts not slow, but it's not as fast as when you're in the rabbit situation. When you're in a rabbit situation, you can fly like wild and make fast turns and fly fast forward and stop and so on. If you're in the turtle mode, it's a little bit more smooth, more gentle. And so you have to try by yourself which mode fits your needs best. So if you make a movie or a video, you go a little bit more to the turtle mode, and if you want to make only pictures and want to fly from one point to another point and make this a little bit faster, then you may use the rabbit point. So try it out by yourself and make some different flights. I will show you when we have the fourth of the sequel here. I will show you when we fly outside how the difference is, and explain you a little bit more the difference between the rabbit and the turtle mode. On top of the camera of the remote control, we have the two buttons for shooting a picture. If we press here, we make a picture. Start capture, says the remote control, and that's it. And on the other side, we have the button to start a video. If we press here, start record, and we see the time running by. So this is start and stop the record. There are no individual settings for photography. You can't make exposure correction, white balance or stuff like this. Everything is finished, or everything is set up, so there are no points which you can change in the photo section. There's only one point in the video section, and that's the frame rate. It's the frame rate. You always have 1080p, and you can change between a frame rate 48, 50 and 60. Europe is 50, America is 60 frames per second. So these are the three different settings you can choose from. Anything else, white balance and stuff like this, everything else is completely set, so you're not able to change their different settings in the camera mode. As I said before, the different light symbols I will show you outside, but one important thing I will show you here, I will make it outside too, but one important thing I will show you here inside. and that's the compass calibration. You may know the compass calibration from DJI, from the NASA, from the Phantoms. Here it works a little bit different, and I will show you how it works. First of all, we need the north point. So on my smartphone, on my Apple here, on my iPhone, I have a compass option, and with this compass option I can see where the north point is, and I can set the copter exactly to the north direction like I have it now. And now we start the calibration, and to start the calibration we have to move this lever here to the point rabbit, to the most forward point rabbit. Then we use this stick and move it to the left side, and then the lever here 5 or 6 times. Take the copter exactly like it is. The backlight flashes fast, and now you have 30 seconds for the compass calibration. It works 360 degree in this, then 45 degree in this direction. Better to take the copter here at this. Again, 360 degrees, 45 degrees in this direction, and you can take the copter here. Again, 360 degrees. Last time 45 degrees, again take it here at the motors, and again 360 degrees, and that's it. And then hold the copter for a second like this, and that's it. And if you're done, the copter starts again and everything is fine. It looks a little bit complicated, but I tried it outside and it worked, and even here you see it works. Even if we have here some magnetic stuff, some lights or stuff like this. But yes, I will show you again outside how it works, but you have seen it worked here. The copter starts automatically if it was successful, otherwise you have to make it a second time. One point is very important also. The copter starts only if we have enough GPS satellites and a GPS signal, and that is when it says ready here at this point. And when it's ready, we can press the start button for about 3 seconds, and then you will see that the motor starts. Give me a second. Okay, now we are here. Press the button 3 seconds, and here we are. Motor starts. Remember, no propeller, please. And that's no problem. But what will we do if we fly inside? And I can show you, I can simulate how this works when you try to start the copter when you fly inside. I switch the copter off and turn the copter on just a second ago, and then the GPS says no connection. And in this time, when I try to start the copter, you will see it takes a second to connect. Give me a second. Takes a time to connect again. And when I try to start the copter in this time, you will see won't work. Comes this sound, and the sound says, you see, disable. I try now. Press. Nothing happens. You hear the sound. That's it. And the copter doesn't start. So this would be the situation when you try to start indoor without GPS. You can disable the GPS system manually, and I will show you how this works. Again, move. Now we are ready. You see, we are ready. Now we can start the motors. Here we are, and switch them off. And now I will disable the GPS system, turn the right dial again in the rabbit position, move this stick, the right stick, to the right side, and then 4 times this one, and you will see there comes a warning, GPS disabled. now the GPS system is disabled. Normally you cannot start the motors now, but as you can see, I press the button for about 3 seconds and here we are, the copter starts. So that would be the option to fly indoors without GPS system. So there's an option to fly indoor. Stop the engine. If you want to go back to the GPS system, I try to do the same, but for me it doesn't work, so I have to switch off. On and off and on. Sorry, the copter to go back to the normal GPS mode. It takes now a second. One thing, the remote control doesn't have an HDMI or analog output. So if you want to fly FPV with a glass, like the Cinemizer or something like this, there's at this time no option to fly with these glasses. There's no option on the remote control to get an HDMI signal or stuff like this. But there's another way to connect a glass or an FPV device or an external second monitor here, and I will show you how this works. First of all, you need a new smartphone or a newer smartphone, and then you have to download the Seago 2 from Yuneec. Go on the internet page in the App Store or in the Android Store, search for the company name, and then you will find the Seago 2 app. That's also the name of the camera. If you have downloaded it, then you go to your Wi-Fi setting. It's now in German, sorry for this. Go to the Wi-Fi setting, and if you go to the Wi-Fi setting, you will here see Seago 2. Go to the Seago 2. There comes a code question. I've done this before. There comes a code question, and you have to press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And then you get the connection. That's it. Now go to the app Seago 2, and after a second you will see we have exactly the same picture on the smartphone. And now the trick is very easy. You take the HDMI adapter of the smartphone, or you have a smartphone with an HDMI output. Just plug the HDMI adapter here in, and then you have here, I have the Cinemizer. Turn the Cinemizer on, and what you have is I have the picture in the Cinemizer. I love the Cinemizer because when I use the Cinemizer, I can see the copter when I view over the Cinemizer, and I can see the remote control when I look under the glasses. So for me it's a perfect option to see the view of the FPV picture here, and also have the view to the copter and to the remote control. So for me it's perfect. I use the Cinemizer for all my copters, also for the big hexacopter where I use a light bridge, and so the Cinemizer for me is perfect. And this is absolutely a perfect setting. I don't have the whole information here. I don't need the whole information because I have it here on the remote control. If the sun is shining, I can use this part here to put it on the screen. But yes, it's a perfect option, so I can see the picture here, or someone else can see the picture and give me hints to say, okay, go more left, more right, or something like this. And so yes, it's not the direct way, but still you can get an FPV signal from this setting, and that's, for me, it's absolutely perfect and fine. And also you can use a holder and put an iPad on it. It works absolutely in the same way. Okay, so now we set up, everything works perfect. The remote control is set up, camera, copter, everything is set up, and we can go outside, and hopefully the weather will get better in the next days, so I can make the video outside from the first flight and show you how to fly with this copter, and I can show you how the lights, what the lights tell you about the status of the copter, and then we will see also the first pictures, the video quality and the picture quality of the copter. That's it for today, part 3 of the Q500. Hope you enjoyed it, hope it helped you a little bit, and if so, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, share the video, and as always, thank you for watching, bye bye and moin moin.